This video lecture addresses plant adaptations to the environment. Much of the content and the organization are after Smith and Smith elements of ecology. All life is built on a framework of carbon atoms, with the ultimate source of carbon for organic molecules being carbon dioxide, or CO2. Carbon dioxide is transformed into organic molecules by autotrophs. There are two broad types of autotrophs. Chemoautotrophs are organisms where energy is supplied by the oxidation of inorganic molecules. Photoautotrophs are organisms where energy is supplied by the sun, such as plants that carry out photosynthesis. The products of photosynthesis are allocated differently in response to environmental conditions. Photosynthesis is the conversion of carbon dioxide into simple sugars. Photosynthesis is the process by which shortwave radiation from the sun is used to fix carbon dioxide into carbohydrates or simple sugars and release oxygen. The chemical equation describing photosynthesis is noted here. 6 carbon dioxide molecules combined with 6 water molecules in the presence of energy from the sun yields 1 simple sugar molecule and 6 oxygen molecules. Photosynthesis begins with light reactions. Light energy is absorbed by chlorophyll, which is a pigment molecule, and the light energy is converted into ATP and NADPH. Photosynthesis continues with the dark reactions with the incorporation of carbon dioxide into simple organic sugars using the energy provided by ATP and NADPH. Some products of photosynthesis are used in cellular respiration or aerobic respiration. The chemical equation for aerobic respiration is 1 simple sugar molecule plus 6 oxygen molecules yields 6 carbon dioxide molecules plus 6 water molecules plus ATP. Fermentation is another form of respiration, but in the case of fermentation, it is anaerobic respiration, meaning respiration occurs in the absence of oxygen. The equation for fermentation is 1 molecule of glucose yields 2 molecules of lactic acid and 2 ATP. Net photosynthesis is described as photosynthesis minus respiration, and it is measured in moles of carbon dioxide per unit leaf area, or mass, per unit time. The availability of light, photosynthetically active radiation, PAR, to the leaf directly influences the rate of photosynthesis. The light compensation point, LCP, is the point at which the rate of net photosynthesis is 0. The light saturation point is the point above which no further increase in photosynthesis occurs. Photoinhibition is the negative effect of high light levels. Photosynthesis occurs within specialized leaf cells called mesophyll cells. Carbon dioxide enters the leaf through openings on the surface called stomata, and oxygen and water molecules exit the leaf through the stomata. The movement of carbon dioxide is based on a diffusion gradient which is maintained by a constant reduction of carbon dioxide within the leaf as it is transformed into organic carbon molecules in the dark reactions. Stomata open and close depending on whether the plant needs carbon dioxide or needs to conserve water. Transpiration is defined as the water loss through the stomata. This movement of water is based on a diffusion gradient. One important vocabulary term to know is turgor pressure, which is the force exerted outward on a cell wall by the water contained in the cell. Plant growth rate and other physiological processes are at a maximum when cells are fully hydrated, that is, at maximum turgor. Any water lost via transpiration must be replaced to maintain turgor. Work requires the transfer of energy. Gibbs free energy is the measure of energy available. Any reaction will proceed spontaneously from a state of high free energy to one of lower free energy, and the direction will depend on the free energy values of the two states. Solar energy, that is, PAR, is the input of free energy to power photosynthesis. A diffusion gradient and the kinetic energy associated with this gradient is the free energy that allows the movement of water from the leaf to the atmosphere. A concentration gradient is the source of free energy for the movement of water from the soil into various areas of the plant. A higher concentration of water molecules yields a greater density of water molecules and a greater value of free energy. Water potential is the measure of the free energy of water. Pure water or water with no solute content has the greatest amount of free energy. As pure water accumulates solutes or atmospheric relative humidity drops below 100%, the free energy of water declines and water potential becomes negative. Water moves from an area of a positive water potential, for example inside a leaf, to an area of more negative water potential, for example the atmosphere. The overall plant water potential is due to a combination of factors, including turgor pressure, which is the force exerted outward on a cell wall by the water contained in the cell, by osmotic potential, which is due to solute concentrations in cells, and matrix potential, which is due to the attractive forces of cell walls. Water moves from a higher to lower water potential, where the water potential of the atmosphere is less than the water potential of leaves is less than the water potential of roots is less than the water potential of soil. Continued water loss through transpiration depends on latent heat of evaporation, soil moisture, and the water potential of roots. The rate of water loss varies daily with humidity, temperature, and plant characteristics such as stomata openings and closings. The water efficiency is the ratio of carbon fixed through photosynthesis per unit of water lost through transpiration. Terrestrial plants must balance intake of carbon dioxide with the loss of water. Submerged aquatic plants like the seagrass pictured here lack stomata. Carbon dioxide diffusion into water and then into the leaf across the cell membrane. The diffusion of carbon dioxide in water is 10,000 times slower than in air. Carbon dioxide also dissociates into bicarbonate ions, and some aquatic plants can use this as a carbon source. Photosynthesis and respiration respond directly to variations in leaf temperature. Both rise with an increase in temperature to a certain point, though the respiration rate increases more slowly than the photosynthetic rate. Leaf temperature depends on the exchange of radiation between the leaf and the surrounding environment. The net energy balance of the plant is the difference between the absorbed energy a plant receives and that which is reflected back to the environment. Absorbed radiation powers metabolic processes and becomes stored in chemical bonds. Absorbed radiation also heats leaves and the surrounding air. Plants must exchange heat with the surrounding environment to maintain positive net photosynthesis. Terrestrial plants do this through convection and evaporation, whereas aquatic plants do this only through convection. The boundary layer is a layer of still air or water adjacent to the surface of the leaf. Conditions of the boundary layer differ from the surrounding air or water. Boundary layer characteristics are affected by heat, water, and carbon dioxide from the plant surface, wind or water flow, and leaf size or shape. Carbon gained in photosynthesis is allocated to the production of plant tissue. The carbon balance focuses on the balance between the uptake of carbon dioxide through photosynthesis and its loss through respiration. This includes more than just net photosynthesis, since a plant is made of leaves, roots, and stems, so the total carbon uptake, which is the gain per unit time, equals the uptake of carbon dioxide in photosynthesis divided by leaf area times the total leaf surface area minus the carbon loss of carbon dioxide in respiration by unit time times the total mass of living tissue. Carbon allocation influences plant survival, growth, and reproduction. Carbon is allocated in leaves for photosynthetic cells, in roots for uptake and storage of water and nutrients, and in stems for support and encounter of sunlight. Under ideal conditions, carbon allocated to leaf tissue promotes the fastest growth because of the increase of the photosynthetic surface. When you think about community structure and development and concepts such as community succession, the allocation of carbon varies in pioneer versus later successional plant species. Plants must maintain a positive carbon balance to survive, grow, and reproduce. There are definite trade-offs of carbon allocation considering limiting resources. The following resources were consulted in developing this video lecture, including content, wording, and visuals.